Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Throwing Your Parents Under the Bus podcast. I'm Jane Johnson, and with me today, again, you'll find our usual suspects. Electric crash investigator and driver safety expert Mike Pehl. How you doing, Mike?
I am awesome.
Love to hear it. And of course, our enrichment researcher and social media expert, Natasha.
Hello, doing good.
Right. You're here then. Right. You know what? Over the past 14 years, our DriveSafeRideSafe team has accumulated thousands of observations from our driver ed students who have sent in their stories, questions, and insights that they observed while they were experiencing real-life driving situations as part of our driver ed course. Recently, it took us 14 years to figure it out, we realized that their observations might also be able to help other students prepared to drive on today's chaotic roads. So with this said, on today's episode, I understand we are going to talk about semis. Tasha, you want to take it away?
Yes. So today we've got a great question for you. A student's mom shared a pretty intense driving experience with her. She was learning to drive a stick shift and kept stalling out, which led to a close call with a semi truck. She realized after that incident that a manual transmission just wasn't for her. So, from a driving instructor's perspective, Mike, how should new drivers handle situations like this when they're learning to drive a manual?
Well, first of all, there's nothing more intimidating out on the road, like Jane spoke in the beginning about the chaotic driving in today's world, but there's nothing more intimidating, especially to a new driver being next to a semi that could be inching their way over into your lane, and more importantly, to have one coming at you when you just stall in a manual transmission. So as a driving instructor in the beginning stages of teaching a new student how to drive, the last thing you want to do is put that student out in a manual transmission with the purpose that one could actually stall the car. So we don't teach in manuals anymore, but I've been doing this for over 40 years, and we used to have manual cars that we could teach kids how to drive manually. So the biggest thing before you put them out on a road, if that is what you're going to teach, is until they can start out on a hill without rolling backwards, that car does not go into traffic. So whether that is in a parking lot with a hill, old street that has very little traffic on it, if you cannot start that car without rolling back on a hill, uphill, then you don't go out into traffic. And also the easiest way to teach a manual when you start with that clutch and gas is point them downhill, because they're less apt to kill the car going downhill, and they will learn how to listen for the engine to grab and all that. So the confidence level, that's where the confidence is okay, we got to go now, you're on a hill, let's go. All right, let the clutch out, push the gas in, and away we go, and we're not rolling back. Another great tip is if most of the manual transmissions have the emergency brake handle right between the two seats in the front. So, excuse me, on a hill, you pull that emergency brake up, the car can't move now. All right, so you're on a hill. As you let the clutch out and you feel the motor, you release the brake and you go. So actually, it worked very, very well back in the day. I haven't seen a manual transmission in so long but I'm just, those are the great tips from the past. So and don't be intimidated by semis, but don't let a semi intimidate you to the point where now you're an afraid driver instead of a driver that knows what to do. So they're big, they're bad, they're ugly. We have to deal with them. So deal with them. And when you learn how to deal with them, then your confidence level will explode, we'll say.
Oh, one of the things that I know you taught me, because you've taught the students, is that if you are driving parallel, with a semi, you want to either punch it, get past it, or stay behind. Because if it's an empty trailer or something like that, the wind could blow into your lane. So I'm always very, aware of the fact that I am either behind it or I'm kicking butt past it.
Yeah.
Because it makes me nervous.
Yeah, so in saying that, I don't want you to punch it to the point where you're going 60 miles an hour to 100 to get past the semi. But I want you to increase your speed a little bit, even if you have to speed a little bit. There is not a state trooper or an officer of the law that wants us to hang right next to the side of a semi on a multi-lane thing. It's not a good thing to do for anyone. So what Jane is saying is as you come up, we'll call the blue truck our semi. As you come up, you don't get your bumper on the side of that where you're riding like that. And so if you can't go all the way past it till you're in front of it, then don't pass it. You do not want to be trapped in the middle of that for numerous reasons, but I want you to think of, if that semi has to make a fast move, where they have to slam their brakes on, or a car in front of them stalled, or let's just say a kid in front of them jumped out. Human nature wants us to swerve. And if that trucker swerves, are you the one they're going to swerve into? So, I like to say get paranoid on everything, but that's one to get paranoid on. So don't put yourself in that spot and you don't have to deal with it.
Well, I think that's great information. And I think there are some manual cars. I will tell you that when I was up in Minnesota this summer, they had car shows there regularly with very old, cool cars. And so they're still existent, but maybe not so much on the heavy roads. Anyway, I guess with that, anyone have anything else to say today?
I don't think so.
All good.
All good? All right. Well, that's it for today. And we want to thank you again for joining us. And please check out our website or subscribe to our YouTube channel, or email us with your story or ideas on topics you'd like us to discuss. And you can find information for our different platforms and links right below, just to make it simpler for you. Until next time, remember to
Drive
safe.
safe, ride.
Ride safe.
you guys not remember the name of our company? All right. Love y'all. Take care. See you next time.